I mean, the level of riding, it's.
I met a gypsy.
Yeah, that'd be epic. Yeah, what'd you think of the track this weekend? It was a good track.
By far the best track we've had yet. And I think everybody realizes that. So why can't Dirtworks recognize that everybody's saying that and all the riders agree on that, and then make more tracks like similar to that? Long lanes, a lot of big 180 bull turns, huge rhythms that created a ton of rhythm opportunities, a long set of big whoops that didn't turn into jumpers right away, a long start with a 180 turn that made for a fair first corner. Everything about that track, the characteristics, makes for a good racetrack. Where we've had 2 good racetracks this year, maybe 3.
Really?
All of the rest, the rest have been terrible. Like, the whoops have been built so that everybody's jumping right off the bat, which I'm going to sound like a complainer, but in my opinion, that's not Supercross. Like, Supercross, I think we should be skimming. If they're going to be jumping through whoops right off the beginning, I get it. Halfway through a main event, when it's getting out of control and you got to just figure your way out through there, fine, start jumping. But if we're jumping from the first free practice, just put a freaking rhythm section there. Why is there even a set of whoops?
Yeah,
whoops should be skimmed until they break down. And this is very that's subjective. That's an opinion. But that's just how I feel. And then also when you have like the tight 90-degree turns and and the rhythms that are simple. And I don't want to confuse your listeners by saying simple, because they're not simple. But when you can't create options, and when the top 40 guys are doing everything, that doesn't make for a great racetrack. This weekend was gnarly. You would have got a kick if you had been there and watched 450 A group and 250 A group first free practice. I have never seen anything like it. Nobody jumped anything.
Really?
McAdoo tried one rhythm, overshot it, didn't try it again. In the 450, I saw like 2 guys jump one of the options. What you saw in the main event and in the heat race, nobody jumped any of that in free practice. And barely any of the guys jumped it in first time qualifier.
Wow.
It was really,
awesome.
I was watching, dude, usually I watch 250A and 450A and I formulate my game plan based on that. I watched those 2 practices and I'm like, what do I do?
What am I going to do?
Am I just going to be going double, double, double around this entire track? I didn't know what the heck was going to happen. And that's sick. Like, that's Supercross. That's technical. I think that's cool.
Yeah, man, this was, it sucks that we didn't do Supercross Companion, because, man, I absolutely loved watching racing this weekend. Man, the 450 main event from this weekend was one of, I think, the most technical and clinical main events I've ever seen. Those 4 dudes... Like, I'm bummed Sexton wasn't up there, because after the speed he had in the heat, he could have been another cat amongst the pigeons. But the Eli Tomac Barsha battle, the way that Eli was putting pressure on Webb, and then that brought them up onto the back of Kenny, who was like out of there, and then the way that Coop was able to pass Kenny. Like, Jesus, that main event had everything, and it had everything to do with the track.
It did. And TV did justice of how good of a race that top 4 group was then?
Yeah, it was incredible. Like, it was such a good racing experience, or like viewing experience. Nobody messed up. The top 4 guys rode such a flawless race. It was except
hard
for
for
Eli
me to
when he hit that. Eli hit that bail after the finish. That was like the only mistake anyone made.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. That was a pretty big mistake too. Yeah. Other than that, not a single mistake. Maybe Roxon messed up the sand a couple laps. I think Webb was a little bit cleaner in the sand, but barely. Everywhere else, that was a flawless race from those 4 guys. And it was like, watching that in the stands, it was suspenseful, because you would... Tomac would put pressure on Webb, and then they would catch, like, the pressure would create it would just close the gap.
Yeah.
Even more. It was just insane. I mean, the level of riding, I don't know how they go that fast, that long. When you watch a main event, it feels like forever.
Yeah, it is. It's so gnarly.
They're just riding at a ridiculous level for so long and not messing up and having somebody on your freaking butt the whole time. Those dudes deserve every penny they make and then some. It's just like, that is so next level.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.